So imagine typing one sentence into a chat window and then getting a fully deployed website back in a few seconds. No templates, no drag and drop builders, just a prompt and a live URL. Right now, a lot of people are paying monthly for website builders they barely touch. But with this workflow, once you set it up, you can spin up as many websites as you want on autopilot from inside a simple chat window. In this video, I'm going to show you how to build exactly that using N8N. We're going to set up a chat-based workflow where you can say things like, give me a pastel landing page from my AI study coach with pricing and an FAQ. And then N8N will use the chat trigger to capture your prompts and then let the agent node turn it into a structured website brief. And then go ahead to call Google Gemini to generate a complete single file called index.html with all the HTML and CSS inside it. And then even go ahead and push that file to GitHub Pages so that you can get a real shareable website URL at the end. By the end of this tutorial, you would have your own AI website builder you can talk to spin up landing pages for new ideas you have, test different layouts and copy, or even generate quick client mockups on demand without you having to pay for yet another website builder subscription. So let's jump into N8N and then let's wire this up step by step. If you are new to N8N, then think of N8N as an automation platform just like Zapier or Airflow that helps you automate repetitive processes, vibe code, and build beautiful automations. If you don't have an N8N account, you can sign up in two ways. So you can pay for the cloud subscription or you can decide to self-host it. So over the past few years, N8N has gained popularity because it allows you to self-host and it's also open source. So that's pretty cool in my opinion. If you don't want to get hooked up to a monthly subscription, then you can decide to self-host it. I do have a video on the true cost of self-hosting versus cloud hosting. I'd encourage that you watch it if you are just new to N8N so that you know which path you should take. You also need to have a GitHub account. So again, you'd have to go to GitHub to set up an account. So I would first walk you through how things are set up inside N8N before moving on to GitHub. So let's start first with what I have inside N8N. So inside N8N, I'm starting off with a chat trigger, and I decided to use a chat trigger just because I want to have some form of input screen to input the prompt. Now, if you can have a front end website on top of this and layer it in and maybe call a webhook so that people can just go to the website and then input the prompt and then it will be fed into your workflow here. I probably would do this in my next tutorial, how you can have that front end UI and then basically go in and then type in a prompt and then it will just generate the website for you as well. So I'll show you how to do that as well. For every automation, you need to have a trigger. So I'm starting off with the chat trigger, and the chat trigger is where I'm basically inputting the prompt and all that. Okay, so now that I have my chat trigger, in order to access the chat trigger, you can always click the plus icon and then you can use the chat trigger here. So I have the chat trigger in here. Chat trigger is where you are really taking the prompts for the website. Okay, so for instance, in this case, if I want to build a website, let's say around wellness, I'm probably going to use this chat trigger I'm just going to open the chat window and then I'm going to paste in the prompt. Okay, so this is the exact prompt I'm going for. I'm saying things like create a calming one-page website for a mindful moment wellness brand that helps busy professionals manage stress and avoid burnout. And I'm saying use soft soothing colors, pastels or light neutrals, and a peaceful, clean layout. I've described what I want the website to look like. As you can see, I've also configured the ability to allow file uploads. Maybe you have a product requirement document or you have an application specification document. You can also attach it along with the prompt as well. So this is the exact prompt I have in here. So the idea is once I enter this prompt, it's going to trigger the entire workflow. So let me just get this going. Now, after this prompt in here, I do have the AI agent node here. So the AI agent node really is, just think of it like a way to get into ChatGPT or Gemini. It's basically a way to connect to any AI models you want to use. In this case, I want to use Google Gemini. So I have Google Gemini connected in here. And inside this AI agent node, I have this exact system message. And don't worry, I'm going to leave this inside the description box. I'm going to give the template out for free. I don't gatekeep, okay? So I'm going to drop this template inside my school community community so that you can download it for free. If you don't have an account, if you're not already in my school community, then I'm going to leave the link to join the school community inside the comment section below, or I'm also going to leave it in the description box as well so that you can join. I'm also launching my paid membership community starting in January. I'm also going to leave the link to the wait list in the comment section below so that you can sign up for that as well. But really, this is what I have inside the system message. I've defined the role of the model, and I've talked about like the fact that when the user describes a website, they want in free text. I've talked about the fact that they should read a user message, extract a clean structured brief, and respond only in JSON. And notice that I want to have these specific fields that should come out as like a JSON object. So in here, I'm going to say that require a specific format. When I say that, what I'm trying to say is that when I do this, what this means is that it would force the model to always respond in a specific format. And because I have that switch turned on, I'm going to attach a structured output parser to it. So this structured output parser will define how the JSON object should look like, right? So I have like the site description, I have the tone, I have the style, and I have the extra requirements and the slug. So this is really the JSON format I want the agents to respond in. And like I said, I've attached my Google Gemini 3.0 module in here as well. I'm just letting this module. If you don't have an API key for Google Gemini, you first need to create an API key. I've done several videos on how you can really go into Google Cloud Console and get your API keys. I'm going to link that in this video just so you can have like a refresher. But once that is done, just take note of how the data is coming from the AI agent node, right? So this is what is coming out of the AI agent node. And after it's passed through the structured output parser, if we didn't attach the structured output parser, this is what would have as one block. But because we have the structured output parser here attached, this is what we are getting after it goes through the structured output parser. Notice how we have this JSON object and we have all these fields separated nicely for us. It's very important that you set this because in the next node where we are actually like generating the HTML file and all that, you want to make sure that all these things are clearly segregated so that you can drag these JSON fields that you need to build out the HTML file. So this is the exact endpoint I'm hitting for Gemini 3 Pro. Again, I said I'm going to drop the template in the description box so that you can download it and then follow through as I do the tutorial. And you need to assign your API key as well. Now, the method you're using is a post, and then I'm going to scroll down. You need to like application, the header parameters, application, content type. These are like really standard. And then in terms of the body, this is exactly what I'm sending. Okay. So I'm saying that you're a front-end developer, create a complete responsive one-page website using pure HTML and CSS, right? And I've given some guardrails like things it should not do, no markdown, no code fences. And I've talked about the fact that you need to include like hero section, feature section, and requested extra sections. And I've dragged in all the necessary things I need, like the site description. And the site description was generated from the previous node, which is the AI agents node. So I've just really dragged it here. Also the tone, I've also dragged the tone in here, the style, and any extra requirements I have. Okay. So that's the benefit of like using the structured output parser, because then you're able to like break down the output into smaller chunks that you can move on to the next node. So this is what the output will look like once this node runs. We're going to get this exact output. So we're going to get text, and the text really is what contains the HTML file. And then we have also this other inputs coming through from the HTTP request node. Now in our edit fields node, what we are really interested in, like in terms of the entire run, we are just interested in two fields. Okay, we just want to have the HTML file and we just want to have the slug, right? So because of that, like we don't really need all these things that are coming through from the HTTP request node. So that's why I have the edit fields node. So the edit fields node helps you just extract just those fields that you need. So I've just extracted the HTML file coming through, and the HTML file is stored in this text here, and then also the slug. So the slug is one of the outputs I got from the AI agents node, right? So if I scroll down, the slug is one of the outputs I got from the AI agents node. So that's what I have in here. And then I have like, so these are the two things I just want to pass on to the next step in the process. Now, the next step in the process is where I'm sort of like creating the file inside GitHub. And I chose GitHub just because it's easier. Like you can sign up for a free version and spin things up, and it's very easy for you to follow as opposed to like proposing something else that you probably have to pay for. So this was super neat and very easy to configure for me. So once you add a GitHub node, and to add a GitHub node, you just click on the plus button and then you search for GitHub, and then you add a GitHub node. What you're interested in is the create file action. So in terms of operation, we are selecting create file, and this is where you need to have a GitHub account, right? So I do have a GitHub account that I've called Learning in Tech, and then I created a repo. So you need to like create a repo in GitHub. So if you come into GitHub, for instance, you can click on new, and then you can decide to create a repo. You can give your repo a name, and then you can give a description, and then you can add like the README files and all that, and the git ignore files and all that. So you can do this. Visibility, I set it up to public, and then once you do that, you have to set up your API key. So again, in order to set up your API key, you click on your profile icon here, and then you click on settings, and then you scroll down to developer settings, and then you click on personal access tokens, and then you select the fine grained tokens. Okay, so once you do that, you click on generate new token, and then you get a token. So this token is very useful because that will serve as your credential for your GitHub account inside N8N. So for instance, if I come in here and I'm like create new credentials, what you need is your username and your access token. You put in the access token you got from GitHub as well as your username, and that would connect you. So once you execute this step, you see that you have a number of fields here that are being populated for you, which is good. Another thing you need to make sure of is that like GitHub Pages is actually on. So if you come into your repo, for instance, click on settings, and then you go to pages, and then you click on deploy from branch. You select the branch. Most likely it's going to be the main branch, and then you make sure it's on root, and then that's it. Right now I'm not configuring any custom domains, so we'll just keep this like that, and then you click on save. Okay, so now this shows that your pages is ready. Once you make sure that you have GitHub Pages, your GitHub Pages is on and everything, this is the time to really test out your site. The way you get the URL for the site, depending on whatever you named your repo, right? So if you, for instance, named your repo prompt sites like I did, then your site is live at this link, right? So I'm just going to paste this link inside my browser, and then what you're interested in is the path, right? So your site is live at that link, but you need the exact path this file has been deployed to. So when you come into your N8N workflow, you see the path in here as an output. So this is the path you select. So you come in here and then you paste it. So this is the link, right? So typically it would be your username.github.io / the repo name and then the path. The path is what you get from N8N. So let's see, this is the moment of truth. Let's see what we have here as an output. So this is how our exact site looks like. As you can see, it's created the site in less than 2 minutes. And the site is working like we want. Offerings. It has some pricing in here. You can choose plan, start my account journey. And then, yeah, if you want to have membership, you have all that. So this is great, guys. If I click on join now, you can see that the site is working the way we want it to. I mean, you can go ahead and even modify the site further. Thank you, guys. That is it for today's tutorial. If you enjoyed this tutorial, don't forget to like, subscribe, all the good stuff. I do have a lot of tutorials on building AI agents or building an AI assistants, AI automations inside N8N. I do have tutorials on using Microsoft Copilot Studio, building AI agents in N8N, voice agents in N8N and Microsoft Copilot Studio. So if you're interested in any of those tutorials, then I'm going to leave them on the screen so that you can go watch them. Also, if you're a beginner, you're just getting started with N8N and you really don't know where to start from, then I have a beginner video as well. I do have an N8N for beginners tutorial as well that you can go check out. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Thank you for watching and see you in the next one.